Howdy guys, welcome to lesson 1 of Prohibition Gin things. Today we'll be talking about our original gin, and we'll also be talking a little bit about distillation and kind of how we get to this delicious thing in a bottle. Prohibition Original Gin, this is the first gin we released back in 2015, and it's by far the thing we sell the most of. It is like big, bold, classic, and I'll talk a little bit about the flavor profile in just a second, because we're going to talk a little bit about distillation so we can learn to understand what's actually happening in the bottle. We use a combination of really traditional pot distillation and also vapor infusion. And what's really cool about that is we get a little bit of old school and a bit of new school, which is kind of something we like to put in all our products. So we have a 900 litre copper pot still called Mary, which is beautiful, and in that we put in alcohol. That alcohol has been sitting at 50%, so really strong, 50% booze for a day, with all of our botanics kind of soaking in it, kind of making like a boozy botanic tea. And we throw that into the still. And we throw all our heavy botanics into the pot part of the still, and then there is a separate basket that sits over and away. We put some of our lighter and more floral botanics. What we do is we heat up all this alcohol. This alcohol has a higher volatility than water and therefore a lower boiling point. So it's going to boil off at a lower temperature, and that temperature, of course, if it starts boiling, is 78 degrees Celsius. So after that alcohol starts foaming and rolling and starts boiling up, all this vapor shoots up in the still. We then send it down and around into a gin basket. In that gin basket, we keep all our delicate botanics. So we have all our heavy botanics, all our juniper, our coriander, our vanilla, our ginger, sitting in this big pot. And then we have our like lighter things like lavender, lemon myrtle, blood orange, and grapefruit sitting in this basket that is just being steamed and having all those lovely oils, flavonoids ripped out as it continues to travel through the still. As that vapor keeps coming through the still, we then, in a chambered column, we rush water around it, which cools it down. So by the time it trickles out the bottom, we're left with this really lovely aromatic room temperature liquor at about 75 to 85%. Talking about the gin itself, we use juniper, the most important ingredient in gin, hand-picked from the best place to get juniper, that's North Macedonia. We also use Australian coriander seed from the Adelaide Plains. We also use vanilla from Madagascar, blood orange from the Riverlands, as well as some grapefruit from the Riverlands. We use lemon myrtle from the eastern states. So lemon myrtle is this really amazing sherbety, like cousin of the eucalypt. So it looks a lot like a gum tree, tastes a little bit like an icy bowl. It's really, really incredible. We use some pink peppercorn as well, green tea, green sencha tea specifically from China, as well as some wormwood. And wormwood is kind of harkening back to our bootlegging heritage, where we're talking about a botanic that was actually made illegal by a smear campaign from the champagne industry over to the absinthe industry. So a lot of people were drinking absinthe in the 1920s, and the champagne industry tried to put a spin on it, that the key botanic in absinthe, being wormwood, actually made you hallucinate and go crazy. On the palate, the gin is really light, really floral, really engaging, and really, really citrus forward. And it's something that it's at 42% alcohol. It drinks incredibly well on the palate, which is a really important thing. Drinks really well in a martini, as any good gin should, but in a gin and tonic it really shines. We love to garnish it with a little bit of blood orange. When blood orange is out of season, grapefruit works fantastically as well. In the bar, we love to pair it with Cappy Dry. At home, I love to drink it with anything from Fever Tree Mediterranean. I quite like Schweppes Bright Tonic, keep an eye out for it as well. But Cappy Dry is kind of our signature serve, and we pair up really well with them. And it's really, really good to support Australian tonic as well. Yeah, I think that's about it. We'll see you next time. Sick.